All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the Jets have won 2 straight games here, and personally, I think one of the coolest things coming out of both games is the fact that these players, man, they're playing hard for this coaching staff, right? When there's adversity in the game, when there's a down moment, maybe it's a bad play call, maybe it's a turnover, it could be whatever, right? Just a strange situation, a poor throw, whatever it may be. It doesn't really feel like the Jets are ever knocked out of a game. They continue to get up off of the map, and we've seen this. I mean, we've even seen this in losses, right? Week 3 against the Bucks, a couple other matchups, right, where it just feels like, yeah, this game is not going well, right? The Jets are going to lose this one or whatever, but they just continue to fight. And it's funny, I was actually talking to a couple buddies in during yesterday's game, and I got 2 separate texts, right? And these guys don't know each other, but they both said, one text said, I'm really impressed with how the players fight for AG. And then the other text said, I love how our roster has no quit in them. And that's really, really exciting, right? When you're thinking about the future of this team, because as time goes on here, right, we cycle in another free agency class, we cycle in another draft class, then you look ahead to 2027. And, you know, I know not a lot of people want to talk about the future because it's so far away. And, you know, the Jets have missed the playoffs for, I mean, how many years now? Like, it's been way too long. So it's frustrating. It's kind of annoying and tedious to talk about. Well, there's the future, right? I mean, we've been sold that for a long time. But the reality is these rebuilds take time, right? It's very rare that you have a Mike Vrabel situation where you step in and you have a top 5 pick. You already have a franchise quarterback on the roster. You have, what was it, over 120, I want to say over 120 to 130 million dollars in cap space. So you can go out and go get Harold Landry and Carlton Davis and Stephon Diggs and Milton Williams, right? $100 million there. You could even include the Bears in that conversation, right? Where you have your young franchise quarterback. There's players all over the place: DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, man, Tremaine Edmonds, Johnson, Montez Sweat, all these players. And it's just a couple tweaks here and there, a couple more additions, and boom, you're off to the races. With the Jets, with the team like the New Orleans Saints, right? Those were kind of the 2 teams that were listed as, hey, coming off tough seasons, they're going to really need to overhaul this thing from a culture standpoint. And ironically enough, Aaron Glenn was actually one of the front runners for the Saints job. But in any case, I find it really, really encouraging that even though the team heading into yesterday's game was 1-7, they're fighting to the end, man. And yes, of course, you can push back and say, all right, these guys are all millionaires. They're professional football players. The expectation should be to finish games, right? Playing hard every single snap from start to finish, first quarter through the fourth. But the reality is, in the NFL, that's not really the case all the time. Yeah, that can be the fan expectation, but I mean, even thinking back to the last regime, right? Jeff Ulbrich, Robert Saleh, how many times did you see, you know, maybe a pass catcher catch a slant and start running upfield, and safeties are just looking at them, jogging over the ball, boom, right by him, right? An opposing running back takes a handoff, he's charging upfield, and you have corners getting out of the way because they don't want to come up and make a physical hit. And I'm not saying that 100% of the time has been perfect this season and stuff like that, but really the core point, what I'm getting at, is that the young players that are going to be here for the long term, the Jermaine Johnsons, the Jawan Briggs, the Malachi Moores, Brandon Stevens, man, he really has a big time motor, man. Will McDonald, 4 freaking sacks yesterday. I'm not talking about the Lazards and the Josh Reynolds, guys that will not be here next season, because there has been some effort questions with them. Coming back to the football, you know, really trying to max out for a 50-50 jump ball, right? I mean, even like Breece Hall. You know, Breece Hall, he's on an expiring deal. There's no guarantee that he's going to be back with the Jets, but I mean, you see him flying around. I mean, he was the soul of the offense. Finally catching a screen, right? I mean, if we did not have Breece Hall, we're losing that game yesterday, despite how good the defense played, despite the amount of mistakes that Cleveland had, despite these 2 returns on special teams, Williams and Nkwonu. Despite all that stuff, you subtract Breece, we're losing that game. That is how bad the offense looked, right? Garrett Wilson, no catches, he gets hurt. Justin Fields just had one of those games where he just looks unplayable. it's looking like Tanner Engstrand does not trust Fields to throw the ball whatsoever down the field. I mean, to my knowledge, I think Fields only had 2 deep shots. The first one was an interception to Hickman on the first attempt that they tried to really open it up over the middle of the field. The second came, I believe, in the second half. It was a deep shot down the sidelines. It was incomplete. So just very strange stuff on the offensive side of the football. But you like to see the fight, right? Despite the interception, despite Justin Fields again just not being able to move this offense whatsoever. The defense, the special teams, Brees Hall, they're continuing to fight. They're continuing to go out there, grind the axe, and trying to figure out a way to win this game. There's no finger pointing. There's no arguments on the sidelines. There's no defensive players throwing their hands up saying like, come on offense, do something, please. We're stopping these guys over and over and over again. I mean, you've seen that quite a lot this season, actually, with a couple teams. Like Miami's one that jumps out. Like there's some teams out there that you kind of feel like the defense and the offense are at odds a little bit. And even like year 2 Robert Saleh, you kind of felt like the defense, they would just like look down on the offense like, God, we're amazing here on our side. We're taking care of business. Can you guys just score 17 points a game so we can win a bunch of games? Are you guys capable of that? That's how it felt like. And so far through the season, man, when I focus on the young players, it just feels like there's a lot of support there. Right now, Gardner's gone, Quinnen's gone, Michael Carter's gone, but again, when I'm thinking about the young core, Jermaine, Will, Brownlee, Garrett Wilson, Malachi Moore, Olu, Membu, it really feels like they're all trying to lift each other up, which is really, really cool. So, and also another point to make here, to go out and get that first W against Cincinnati in Cincy, that's awesome, right? We all know kind of what happened, right? The 500 yards of total offense without Garrett Wilson, just totally sick, right? Being down 31-16 late into the third quarter, being able to come back. Showing the resiliency, showing just the mental wherewithal. Hey, we can hang. We're not going to give up here. We're not just going to lay down, quit, and get out of the stadium. We're a winless football team. What's another loss to it? Whatever. No, they hung in, stuck in, and found a way to win. Then you have the bye week. Now, personally, I was a big fan of having that bye week there. Just, revel in the victory, go back, watch the film, and have 2 weeks to prepare to maybe stack another W against a not-so-great Cleveland Browns team. But one of the arguments that you could have made was, hey, we just got our first win. Let's ride this wave of momentum into the Cleveland Browns game. Maybe we can stack 2 there. Do you want to have this ultimate high of getting this, getting the first win of the season, the first one of the AG era, and then it just kind of simmers out? Everything just kind of fizzles out as the bye week hits, and then it's just, same old the following week. But that didn't really happen. We carried the momentum into the following week post-bye. Now, to be objective here, Cleveland's one of the worst teams in football. Their defense is fantastic, but their offense is just pitiful, right? Quarterback play, wide receiver depth, problems on the offensive line, specifically at tackle. It just doesn't feel like it's a well-oiled machine whatsoever. I have major questions about Kevin Stefanski. I don't think he's going to be there next season. I just don't. I mean, how many, look at the last 20 games, last 25 games with Kevin Stefanski. What is the Browns' record? It's just not good. And obviously, when we played the Bengals, they didn't have Joe Burrow, but still, a win is a win in my book. And the New York Jets, again, no one is saying, okay, the pressure's on, we have to make this Super Bowl push. It's year 1 of a brand new regime. We have to take wins where we can get it. And if we look at the bright spots here, it kind of reminds me of one of those UFC fighters that might not be delivering these crazy knockout punches, but he just does not go down. He gets hit and he gets right back up. Gets hit, gets right back up. And I think having that brand, having that DNA in a team like this where we have depth issues, where we have a talent issue, when we don't have a long-term option at QB, and obvious weak spots on the squad, with the coaching staff still being in year 1, so they're learning on the fly as well. Just to have that down pat, that is a really, really good thing to kind of build upon as you round out the roster. It's something that the Detroit Lions had. I know this has kind of been a worn out talking point because it gets brought up so much. But when Dan Campbell first took over, one of the things that they could really hang their hat on was, hey, we're rolling out, some undrafted free agents here. We need a lot of talent. Despite us having some good players already, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, Who else? Hawkinson at tight end. A lot of the offensive linemen were still there, right? The Taylor Deckers of the world, Ragnow, Penei Sewell. Like, yes, we have some foundational pieces, but the majority of the roster needs to be filled in with more talent. But they were fighting every single week. And yeah, they lost a bunch of games, but they were fighting every single week. And I think we're at the point right now where we're seeing that from this Jets team. Now, the ultimate test, you look at the Bengals, you look at the Browns, they are not the New England Patriots. They are not this Patriots team that has gotten a win in Tampa. They have gotten a win in Buffalo. They have lost 2 games on the season. They just look like no team can figure them out. I think Josh McDaniels has done a tremendous job understanding the lack of weapons that Patriots team has. And credit Drake May. I mean, such an efficient player. I love Drake May. Massive test on a short week. Probably no Azaria Thomas. What's going to happen with Garrett Wilson? No AVT, no Braylon Allen. Big test. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.